Okay, our next feature. Our next feature is Larry Robinson, a retired psychotherapist, recovering politician, and practicing potter. He is the founder and producer of Rumi's Caravan, a performance ensemble dedicated to restoring the soul of the world through the revival of oral tradition in poetry. Please welcome Mr. Larry Robinson.
I think this will do it.
Okay.
Does that work?
Just get your mouth on there. So, yeah. Here, put it
Thank you, Monica. How nice to be here at Rivertown. You know,
nice to have you.
Years ago, I worked at Petaluma People Services Center, and this was one of my haunts down in this area.
Awesome.
So it's wonderful to be back here.
Good. Lovely to have you.
So this poem is called Snowflakes, and you know, right-wing media likes to talk about people like us as snowflakes. So this is my take on a snowflake. Ecclesiastes says, "For everything there is a season." You say, it's tax season, it's allergy season, it's baseball season. I've got to season the steak on the barbie. Besides, I don't have time to change the world. Goethe tells us of the genius, the power, and the magic in boldness. You say, but what difference can I make anyway? The foxes are guarding the hen house, the juggernaut's out of control. We're all just snowflakes in the wind. The mountain asks, which snowflake falling will be the one to send down the avalanche, changing this entire landscape? Thank you, my fellow snowflakes. You know, last year we got to visit one of my favorite places in this whole world. I've been there several times. In the Dordogne region of France, there are caves that our ancestors were painting 25, 30,000 years ago. And the art in these caves, I see Paul nodding, you know, this is anything but primitive art. This is just absolutely exquisite painting. So this poem is titled Cave Painting at Font de Gorne. Of course, even his bones are now dust. His flowing mane taken by the wind, those sturdy hooves and solid flesh consumed and reborn in endless forms. Even so, through 200 centuries of darkness and lamplight, he is still running free across that vast savanna of time. And the hand that captured in a few spare lines on the limestone wall, that wild grace, sending it down through the years, hand of my ancestor, hand of our ancestor, has long since returned to the formless. A day will come, certainly, when all this will be gone. You and I, the painting, even the wall, carved by ages of drip and flow through uplifted memories of countless tiny beings who spent their short lives in that primordial sea. And yet, this beauty, this grace, offers itself to us in this moment, the only time we have. And as our generation is witnessing the extinction of so many species, this one is dedicated to the passenger pigeon. I never met Martha, nor any of her kin. She died alone a century ago, outliving parents, brothers and sisters, cousins, uncles and aunts. Once she and her tribe numbered in the tens of hundreds of millions and darkened the sky in their passing. All too soon they flew to that further shore, singly and in pairs, in dozens and thousands. She was the last to join them. We are all passing that way, of course, sooner rather than later. Drivers and passengers alike, hurrying to some imagined better place. But if we could slow down enough, we might look a little more kindly on all that we are passing and all that is passing us. I take refuge in our shared awakening. I take refuge in that which is. I take refuge in the community of all beings. Gate, gate, para gate, para sam gate, bodhi swaha. Just south of Dubrovnik on the Adriatic coast, there is a town called Savdat, which years ago had been called Epidaurus. Things are never just the way we know them. What is now has not always been, and what is now will not always be. Far to the east of Italy's boot, the Adriatic washes this Balkan shore, where Caesar's legions and Ottoman swords brought war and roads and angles and laws. If you and I knew what these rocks have learned to move slowly through time, would we still need to conquer and control? Or could we endure and suffer with grace the ceaseless attention of what works to change us? And if we knew what the sea has always known, moved by forces beyond its reach, could we be content to patiently shape that which holds us and gives us shape? And could we not then simply delight in this dance? On the edge of Sebastopol, if you visit our wetlands preserve there, you'll see several ponds, which at one time was Sebastopol's sewage treatment plant, but now has become a marvelous staging ground for passing waterfowl and year-round for many other critters. This poem is called Watershed. The green expanse of duckweed parts, and there he sits, proud, or so I imagine, in all his feathered iridescence, shedding water with neither thought nor effort. The late spring rains fall on Sonoma Mountain and English Hill, dancing down the laguna at Atascadero Creek. So winter green becomes summer gold. But where are the salmon, the steelhead, the pronghorn, and the grizzly? There is so much for us to grieve now. So much loss that we will never see again. And yet, so much still arriving that we have only begun to dream. Can we shed despair as we shed our tears and see with clearer eyes the shining form just now emerging? Well, with an apology to Allen Ginsberg, this is called The Time We Have. I have seen some of the best minds of my generation seduced by power or easy comfort or second-hand certainty. And I have seen others, those of the great heart, who plant sequoias or ideas and sow seeds of joy and justice. I don't know if the world will end in fire or ice, soon or late. I do know that I am glad to be here and in whose company I would spend my time. Amen. In 2017, when the first of the big fires hit Sonoma County, I was leading a tour group in Bhutan on the other side of the world. We didn't have any internet, but the owner of the hotel where we were staying came and told me that they had heard that there's fires in California, and we were just getting rumors. I didn't know what was happening. So this poem came out of that feeling of uncertainty and helplessness, called Falling. In these, well, and actually, I modified it since when the pandemic hit, so that it's anyway, updated version. In these awe-filled days of fire and flood and plague, we watch and wait and wonder when that fierce hand will reach for us at last. Those of us not yet touched by calamity quake, knowing in our bones that though we may be spared this time, time will level us all. No magic amulets, no prayers, no masks, no good deeds or good looks can provide protection from our terminal human condition. And those of us who have watched a child swept forever from our arms, or fled the flames that swallowed our hopes and our memories, or hid from the bombs, or the virus, or the predator's gaze, know now that nothing will ever be the same, as if anything ever were the same. For we all are falling, like ashes, like rain, like petals, like leaves, but we are all falling together. And if we can know in truth that there is nowhere to land, tell me, could we know the difference between falling and flying? This is called recollection. There comes a time when you turn away from all those old stories endlessly retold. The planning and rehearsing, the regrets, what you should have said, what you wish you hadn't, the arguments with those not in attendance, the cravings and the longings, all the needles stuck in the vinyl groove, all the ways you make yourself real. You simply have no more interest in the noise, so finally you stop listening and inhale the silence. Then the world sparkles as if after a passing rain shower, and everyone you meet seems lit from within, saying, "Hey, how are you doing? Where have you been?" And you know that all is well, and all things are well, and all manner of things have always been well. The one final one for a little perspective on our time. Where did this go? Actually, two more. This one is, yes. These days, I keep a candle burning through the dark hours at the far end of the year. A single flame burns for mercy and compassion, for truth and forgiveness, for our endangered Constitution and the land I love, and for all the lands loved everywhere. For our youth in prison, or in uniforms, or in gangs, doing what they must to survive. For all those left homeless by earthquake, flood, or war, by indifference or by greed. For tiger salamanders and polar bears and ancient redwood trees. For tender-tipped green growing in asphalt cracks beneath the cars. For renewal and quickening promised by Applebud and Daphne, by Persephone and Jesus. Some days, the only thing I can do is to keep a single candle burning at the far end of an age. I've lost. I will find it. Called Rise and Fall. Let go of fear and rest in that which is, for peace, like love, comes to those who allow it. Let go of fear and rest in the stillness. Watch the breath rise and fall. Watch the tides rise and fall. Watch towers rise and fall. Watch statues rise and fall. Watch walls rise and fall. Watch empires rise and fall. Watch the breath rise and fall. Let go of fear and rest in the arms of the one who has always held you. The one who holds oceans and atoms and empires and stars. Let go of fear and watch what happens next. Thank you very much.